Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities and some maybe celebrity-adjacent people. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this increasingly strange hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we come fresh off of our interview with Steve, Class 316, last week. And tell me this. When you initially floated the idea to have Steve on, did you expect what we got?
No, because when if you interact with Steve on even a weekly basis, he's largely brain dead on a daily basis. You don't really get much out of him. It's a lot of babble and whining and all sorts of craziness that he just floods your phone with. But what we got in the interview, and I didn't even honestly coach him because he's kind of uncoachable. I feel like I didn't say anything about this is what we want to do. We need you to be vulnerable or anything like that. But somehow, I don't know, but he was really on his game, and I guess we asked him some interesting questions. We got documentary level insight into, I think, the underbelly of this hobby and what the addiction can look like. I was fascinated.
No, I've always said, since I met Steve, he's a super smart guy who actually has really interesting things to say about a lot of stuff. And we really barely scratched the surface. Because I know I've sat with Steve and had some really interesting conversations about all kinds of things. And unfortunately, there's also a lot of noise that comes from Steve, and a lot of, antics and kookiness and stuff. And so it's sometimes hard for people to separate the very smart, thoughtful person from the antics and the kookiness. What is funny, though, and this is no one will really know this except you and me, is that we got multiple requests for corrections over the course of the week for just things that were inconsequential. So, for example, Steve asked for a correction that it was a cane mask, not a lucha mask. That he
a 2002 cane mask, not to be mistaken with a 98 or 99 cane mask.
And what's funny to me is that not for nothing, but a cane mask is a lucha mask, because a lucha mask is just a wrestling mask. So there really is no distinction, the meaningful distinction there. But I know that those kinds of things bother Steve to no end, and that to me is just funny. And I forget there were other little things that he was complaining about too. But again, these are just minor details that are of no consequence. But yeah, the response was tremendous. I mean, the Facebook post advertising that episode got orders of magnitude more engagement than most do about the show. Numbers for the show spiked very high across multiple platforms. Lots of people were reaching out publicly and privately about the episode. I just thought it was great.
Yeah, the reaction was really, really great to see. Kind of crazy. Full disclosure, I woke up Sunday morning in Rhode Island, and the first words out of my mouth to you Sunday morning was, did we make a mistake? Our growth with Marked Out Radio has been honestly up every single week. I don't think we've yet to plateau since we started. And I said to you, is this too different? We literally threw the format out the window. We had a man talking about eating garbage and old Easter bunnies and all this insane stuff. I'm like, are people going to think that they went channel surfing and landed on Steve Wilkos or something? And they're going to have no interest in us, and we're going to tank all our progress. And boy, was I wrong. I'm glad I'm glad you didn't listen to my concern, and we just posted it, and off to the races it was.
What's funny is, I know the concern, and there were some people who made this critique that this was basically just Jerry Springer style garbage. I just don't think so, and I don't think that's borne out by actually listening to it. It wasn't pure, cartoonish sensationalism. There was some of it, but I mean, there was also some, I thought, thoughtful partly introspective. If you look at what this hobby can do to people, so
yeah, I think the only true garbage is what he ate. Like I think there was honestly a lot of truth, a lot of poignancy in what he said and in what sort of we brought out of him. And I don't say that to sound like egotistical, because I think if anything, I make fun of us and myself on here a lot. But we are all, I mean, we're all not that far off from sleeping in a car and scavenging garbage for food. Like, this hobby can get crazy. You can really go in way too deep. I don't think I'll ever get to that point. I damn sure hope I won't. But I mean, if you have some different circumstances in your life, maybe you have some different circumstances mentally as far as what you're dealing with outside of all this, this is not that unheard of. And it's important, I think, to be aware of what the dangers and the pitfalls of being addicted to anything, especially luxury goods that take you all around the country gathering them, what that can look like.
Yeah, I think that's it. What we'll do is we'll put a cap on this for now. Where, and I do think there are other things that are worth exploring with Steve in the future. And there are certainly specific stories. What blew me away about that was that he didn't even remember the thing that was most memorable to me about my personal interactions with Steve was the time we were out for the Rock and he was looking in the car windows, and I tell this story to everyone, and he didn't even remember it happening. And but he
probably barely remembers the interview happened if you ask him now. He did
acknowledge that it's something he would have done. So it's one of those things that I was just that was so funny to me. I was like, damn, I vividly remember this whole thing, but I guess he has a lot more cuckoo stories than I do, so it tracks. All right, so let's start hitting some of the reports.
And reports we have: Zach C. hit the Bookends bookstore very, very hard prior to Rhode Island Comic Con weekend. He got Rainn Wilson on the cheap, and having paid full price for him at Rhode Island for a pro-op, I wish I was able to make that. That was definitely a great value. He got Candace Cameron, and he got Natty Neidhart. Not a bad week for that bookstore.
Not at all.
Then in some Florida news, Chasen Graphs was chasing NXT to Fort Pierce. They did one of their, I guess as we learned yesterday, part of the Coconut Loop. And he got some great autographs. He racked up 9 autographs from people on the NXT roster. Keeping this meet. What's up?
He keeps really cleaning up at NXT on almost a weekly basis.
Listen, he's the kind of his collecting style is sort of in line with our business style, which is get the guys while they're easier and while they're cheaper and more accessible. And yeah, I am absolutely with it.
Richard was hitting the New Jersey meet and greets. Got Matt Cardona was at Pandora's Box. Then guys, real old school guys like Greg Valentine, Tony Gurria, and Mark Coleman were RC Collectibles. I didn't know Mark Coleman was around. Would I have hit New Jersey for Mark Coleman? Probably not. But I would have gone to Queens or Brooklyn for Mark Coleman. So I wish he would come around and do more, especially with the movie, the Smashing Machine movie that came out. You think Mark Coleman would do some more appearances? I'm not sure why he's not. Have you seen any? Am I just missing them, or am I out of the loop?
I had the same reaction, and then for a second I thought, oh, maybe the movie will give him some new life. And then I remembered that the movie itself had no life, and it was honestly a bit of a dud. Which I mean, I kind of felt bad for Dwayne that he went and transformed himself pretty, by his standards, drastically. I think he thought he'd get some Oscar buzz, and that went right off the cliff. But I think Mark.
I saw a review that basically said not every interesting person's life is worthy of a movie, which is kind of an awful critique. But it's.
But yeah, Mark Coleman would be a solid name, I think, for a future big event.
And look, a little bit prescient with Matt Cardona. It might be his last unsanctioned or non-WWE appearance for a minute. So anyway,
I think this is to touch on that, I think I heard scuttlebutt yesterday that it was a one-off from what I was hearing at big events. But I mean, the merchandise kind of makes you think otherwise. But who knows?
Yeah. What else? Rocking with Dan. What was he up to? Ranger Stop in Orlando. Was that like a Power Rangers themed event?
I don't honestly know. I'm going to assume, unless it's just like a lot of park rangers or Texas Rangers of like Juan Gonzalez might have been down there. I'm going to assume it was a lot of Power Rangers.
And he met the turtles were around.
Yes, and listen, as you saw yesterday in the office here, I have more turtle stuff to get done. So whenever I see turtles, I'm jealous, even though no normal human being needs as much as I have. But I'm not a normal human being. In other news, Captain Kangaroo went to Creature Feature Weekend, and he met several legends of horror, like Mr. Bill Moseley, who I haven't seen in quite some time. I actually need him again. And the captain had a great time. Not a single strongly worded letter needed from this report. But stay tuned.
There's always a strongly worded letter around the corner. So this weekend was the big event. This past weekend. It's funny because what we expected the big event to be like was not what the big event was like in a lot of ways. We had one of the things that I don't know if it ever comes across on here, but I'm a pretty meticulous planner about certain things. And so I like if we have a con coming up with talent, I like everything locked in well in advance. Everyone knows what everyone's doing. Times, places, rides, food. I like everything really locked in well in advance. And we got kind of a curveball thrown at us. What day was it? Thursday or Friday? Did the first curveball hit? The first curveball was Thursday, right?
It was a curveball straight from Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, we got a text from Brad Baylor on Thursday saying that he was in Orlando for a taping and wasn't going to be able to get to New York until Saturday morning. And we're like, okay, that's because keep in mind these guys were all booked as drive-ins for big event. We're not planning on doing any flights. I mean, all these guys are based in the Northeast, so except Jackson, but Jackson had other bookings this weekend. So we budgeted and assumed for drive-ins, and then he was flying in. He was flying in on WWE's dime, but he was still flying in on Saturday morning. Now that got compounded because when we realized why he was in Orlando, it wasn't just him. Then that Ricky and Jackson were also in Orlando. And then it's like, okay, that has changed our calculus a little bit because now we have 3 flights coming in. And then when it came time, so I mean, we got a little bit of an inside baseball look here because these guys do not receive their travel from WWE until sometimes a few hours before the flight. And so all 3 guys did not get their flight information from WWE until Friday night. Or Friday afternoon, I should say. And so once we got that flight information, we realized that the initial round of flights for a couple of these guys would bring them to New York after big event was over, which led to a Friday while I was supposed to be at work. Instead, I was scrambling and rebooking flights to get these guys into New York on time or relatively on time for big event.
Yeah. And you didn't even touch on the issues with the TSA, which luckily are improving, I guess, ever so slightly. But between that and WWE's delayed travel sort of reveal of the itineraries, I was honestly bracing for the worst. I even woke up yesterday morning, day of the big event, feeling like, oh, these guys might not make it. And through no fault of their own or ours, but just, the circumstances of it all. And like you said, when you're budgeting for drive-ins, like, that's our margins, any margins in this game are pretty damn thin. And all of a sudden, then you have to, factor in additional costs. It's never fun. But when you are working with talent that is doing tapings with WWE, that, that's the trade-off. Our guys will be working Madison Square Garden on Tuesday. I think it's worth a couple headaches and extra costs to have talent that is on this stage. So I mean,
and it's important to understand these guys were like falling all over themselves, mortified that they were going to be late to this booking, and it was beyond their control. They, we have an established relationship with them, that they were really nervous. I'm like, listen, part of the risk reward here is that we are the only people at Big Event who have talent who will be wrestling at MSG on Tuesday. No one else had that. We had that. And so that meant putting up with an additional, I'm not even going to say headache. I'll just say, how about logistical hurdles that needed to be overcome?
Yeah.
And we did. And it just meant that it was a little nerve-wracking that the only flight that Jackson and Ricky were able to get on that was available was a Frontier flight. That's always nerve-wracking, especially when they bring in carry-ons. And I've heard horror stories of like people's carry-ons not fitting and blah 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 with Frontier. But anyway, all's well that ends well. I picked them up from Islip at around 11:30. They were in the building by noon and were there the rest of the show. And then of course getting them home was also interesting because these poor guys, they had been watching. I can never feel this. They would find it funny watching Ricky and Jackson get off the plane. I mean, it was a small airport where I picked them up, and so I saw them get off, and like they both looked like they hadn't slept in days. Jackson was racing through the airport, brushing his teeth. It was just like, oh my god, these poor guys. They were shot, but yet they get to the show and they flip a switch and they become superstars. My buddy Kev was there with us at Big Event. One of the things he immediately said was, "Oh yeah, I see why you think Jackson's a star, because he is." As soon as he got there, just a switch flips and everything goes. So anyway, Big Event was amazing for us. I mean, Emily shows up early to all her bookings, by the way. If you have any doubt or if you need someone who is extraordinarily reliable, you book Emily J, because okay, real talk for a second. Emily J is not a TV talent, right? She will be, but she's not right now. She's done a couple of shots here and there for AEW, but it's not a TV talent. Her professionalism and her drawing power as a non-TV talent. We've had guests who were TV talents who drew significantly less than Emily J and were significantly less professional.
Yeah, I'm actually selfishly going to take what you just said and back off of it. If you want someone professional, don't book Emily J, because I'm pretty sure we're not done booking Emily J. So I'm not looking to sort of, advertise for people to book her. But I mean, in all seriousness, she is amazing. She shows up early. I like yesterday, I'm not sure if I'm speaking just for myself, but like we've worked with all four of them so often. It didn't even feel like that usual, like when you're dealing with talent and you have all this, like, it just felt like four people that we genuinely know pretty well and can like jokes from the past. And it was easy. It's light. They're professional. Emily is always ready to go. And yeah, I mean, I have nothing negative. There's negative things I could say about people we've booked in the past, but no one yesterday, not a single negative I could say. They are all top notch.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to say it. These guys and Emily, were all, I guess, we start to know people a little bit. And I'm by no means am I declaring myself their friend. I'm not their friend, but we do kind of know them. I mean, we've booked these guys for 2 cons, and how many privates each? 3. So I mean, Brad was in my home. Jackson, we've hung out with at multiple events, for privates and other things. And, we just know them a little bit. And so that the more you know these people, the more you have a little bit of an investment in their future. And I have an investment in their future. I'm going to be second row at NXT Gold Rush on Tuesday night. because I'm invested in their success. I'm excited to see where it goes with them. So we did great. Thank you so much to everyone who pre-ordered and who mailed in. Lots and lots of people. It's funny because the first in WrestleCon there weren't that many people who walked by and were like, "Oh, that's the Vanity Project." Like walk-ups. Now we had more of those at big event where people are like, "Oh, that's the Vanity Project." They're starting to get that visual recognition, and I suspect that after they appear on, because Tubi not a huge reach, but these guys going to be on CW. In a few weeks. The taping is Tuesday night, and I suspect as they appear more on NXT and possibly more shows than that, their visual recognizability, I guess, their Q rating, as it were, is going to continue to increase.
Yeah, this won't put $1 in our pocket unless they want to buy like our stock. But I kind of I know for a fact, as well as we did, there's people in that building yesterday that probably are not aware. They're not dialed in. They watch Raw and SmackDown and maybe the big NXT specials. I know in 2 weeks when these guys are on CW, not on a random NXT episode, but on an actual NXT special with AAA and TNA and all these stars, they're going to say, "Oh, wait, weren't those guys a big event? Crap, we should have gotten them." Because guess what? I've had that moment as a collector. Crap, I should have gotten them. And yeah, crap, you should have gotten them. And as we've said before, I don't think we're going to really have an opportunity again. I mean, never say never. If the cards could fall in that way, I'd be thrilled, but you should have gotten them. And we have some stock left. We're going to be doing some blasts as the weeks go by, with some of the more rookie shots and current shots and all different shots in between. These guys are, and I'm beating this drum now to the point the drum is probably I think I've probably gone through the surface of the drum, but it repeats and bears repeating. I mean, these guys are the real deal. And I said to Brad yesterday, I said, "You were in Sean's kitchen how many months ago?" And I said, "You're going from Sean's kitchen to the Garden." It's absurd. We obviously believed all of this would happen given the money and time we've invested into these young men, but I don't think, and I said this to him, I didn't think it was going to happen now. I thought we had, a couple more months before MSG, but I'll take it.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny to think that, yes, a few months ago, Brad was in my kitchen, talking about getting trained by Paul Roma. It's just, that's a weird, funny thing. And I think they understand that, that we made an investment in them and we believed in them and we still do. And I am, it's a weird kind of personal, investment. Obviously it's a financial one because we have enough. I was joking yesterday. We have enough Jackson Drake prints to wallpaper my house, but we have a real genuine interest in their future success beyond the financial one, because you see them. I mean, we've been working with them for a year, right? The first time we worked with Jackson was a year ago. So you see these people regularly for a year. You talk to them regularly for a year. You see them grow up. You're really seeing them grow up, right? I mean, they started so young and inexperienced, and you're seeing them grow up in this, in their field, and it's exciting. And it's exciting when someone who you're rooting for is starting to show some personal growth and success.
Yeah, I mean, last bit of this from my end, and then we can keep the stories rolling from Big Event. But I am a teacher, and where I teach, I have students that are, I have older students. I have students that are 20, 21 years old for various reasons, various personal reasons in their life. And I see these guys, it's the same feeling I have as the teacher with my students. I genuinely care about these guys. I want to see them win. If someone bought us out tomorrow of all of our stock and we were profitable, whatever they did, I would still be rooting for them. When these guys have elites in stores, I am going to buy the elites. I'm a lunatic. I will buy all the elites. I will buy t-shirts because I want to see these guys succeed. we're on the ground floor. We genuinely know these guys, and they're great guys. I'm not like that with a lot of things. I'm not like, oh, I love Cena so much I got to buy all this crap. I don't really do that. I will for these guys.
Yeah, I am also going to buy their stuff. I mean, as you know, I don't really collect prints, but I do have funny like prints from these guys, signed, personalized. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but Jackson was really going nuts yesterday with his inscriptions. He goes, do you mind if I go a little R-rated? And I'm like, who's gonna see? But it was pretty funny. So anyway, we had a great time. We had a great time seeing everyone. Thanks to the people. Thank you, Ira, for helping out. With the boys at the table and stuff, and for your support. Thank you, Vin, for coming by, for your support. There are a bunch of other. Thank you to all the repeat customers and all of the new customers who came by, and the people who who came by and told us that they listened to the podcast. I was a little bit of a. It's weird when I'm working the table. I think you probably get this sense. I have a little bit of tunnel vision where I'm like hyper focused on the task at hand, and so yes. I'm not really great at talking and stuff. I'm like barking orders at people and going nuts, making sure everything is running smoothly. I'm a little bit of a taskmaster behind the table in that way, which I know that's just who I am. So there were definitely people who I saw, they came by, but I really couldn't engage in the moment. But yeah. Great time yesterday. I thought it was great show, great turnout. It's packed house.
The one moment from yesterday that honestly I think could be a pilot to a sitcom. Ira and Brad Baylor went off in search of Chipotle. Brad ordered Chipotle via DoorDash, and he's closer to my wife's age than my age, and I just he's like asking me if I want anything. I'm like thinking about the prices. I'm like, dude, we could probably figure out a cheaper way to get you food. But these young kids don't give a crap about that. They just order anything. So the DoorDash comes, and then Ira and Brad go out in search of the DoorDash driver, and it took like 20 minutes somehow for them. This guy was all screwed up. He was lost. He couldn't speak English. So you have Ira out there. I know when they came back, Ira and Brad had like bonded. I think Ira might be an honorary member of the Vanity Project at this point.
And he should be.
Yes, he absolutely should be. That was hilarious. So how about, since you were busy being airport driver and taskmaster, did you get to do anything else at the big event?
No.
Oh, listen, I may have done enough for both of us. I had a couple of different little privates. I'm not saying this in any sort of a brag kind of way, because literally it's a coin toss of how this works out. But we got our Goldberg stuff done. Our private was completed. I know several other vendors did not have the same luck. And again, that's just one of those things where I saw Goldberg was catching strays. I think Tom was catching strays. That the deal is for the time that the deal is for. And when the time is up, the time is up. You can't always extend a deal because, we don't know what his flight itinerary was, his travel, what he had to do. You can't always extend. So I think ultimately Goldberg spent more time on the floor with the fans than he probably was supposed to, which is how it should be. You can't turn the actual customers away that are waiting. And as a result, those of us behind the curtain were a little, shortchanged in terms of the time. But that's what happens. That's nobody's fault. And it's easier for me to say from a successful point of view than if I was unsuccessful, because I've been there. We've both been there, where something doesn't get done. We had a Brett signing lined up years ago that Brett was tired. Didn't happen. It sucks. It really does. So, I get it's easy for me to say, but from what I saw, at least from my point of view, it was unavoidable on all parts. So that was good for us, bad for others. And then as for bad for us, I hate to break it to the marked out radio listeners, but we suffered a great loss, a tremendous loss. The meta glasses, my meta glasses are gone. They were stolen, or they were misplaced. I'm not sure which one.
I suspect you dropped them and they're lost and found somewhere. That's my official hypothesis.
Yeah, listen, it's money lost, but like for example, the vendors that didn't get their signings with Goldberg done, they lost money now because they have to mail stuff back that wasn't signed on their own dime. So like that's life, that's business. Shit happens. Oh well. I honestly was pretty distraught yesterday. You and Jackson were cracking up in the car at me, like just lamenting in the back seat about these glasses. Was very upset yesterday. I slept on it. I feel better. Black Friday is approaching. I'll send an email out to the venue. Tom and all his people are already made aware. I asked them yesterday. It's funny. I like ran in and like the back. They're like counting money. They're doing all this official stuff, and I like run back behind the curtain, like yelling about my glasses, and no one saw them, of course. But I mean, I'm like Kramer, just running around the big event. And yeah, I mean, radio listeners, Facebook people, I'll probably throw a post up there. I'll put together a swag bag of a reward if anyone like recovers and brings it to me. Not the venue people. I don't think they want like naked pictures of Maria. I'd probably get on some sort of a watch list if I handed that to a random person. But I mean, people in this world, if you find it, you recover it. If you didn't try to sync it up to your phone and wipe out all my footage, I will give you a reward. So I'll put that swag bag on the street and see what happens.
It's actually really funny that your concern is really the it's really the why can't I talk? It's the footage, not even the glasses themselves.
I mean, listen, I'll replace. I didn't even remember. I bought Series 1 because I'm cheap. So I had Series 1. They didn't even cost me. They were like $2.25 or something, whatever they cost me. I'll probably get them for under $2 on Black Friday. So I'm not really like worrying that much about that. It is what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is. I'm just pissed at like our entire day. I have no proof photos now from Swipe Right, from Jackson, from my Renegade privates that I did with other vendors. I don't have proof shots. That sucks. I don't have Ira getting his balls busted by Vanity Project, and they were teasing him about the Chipotle. That was a funny memory. I don't got it. One of our, I believe it was Juan's kids had a really cool moment.
Yep, it was Juan's kids.
Yeah, that was an awesome moment. It was really cool. And that was a video. I'm like, oh, that's going to be great in the video. And that's gone. And that sucks. But don't you worry, listeners. I will be back. I also lost my cotton condom that goes over my cameras. So I have to construct another one. That sucks. The person that, if anyone found those, they're gonna be, what the hell's this? Why is there this piece of elastic just like wrapped around the glasses? But yes, we will overcome. This is okay. I mean, there's been some great losses in the history of life. That this is not the greatest. So life will go on.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, maybe not funny, but all of this kind of went down while I was running Brad and Ricky to the train station. I probably need to kayfabe why they were going to the train station, but anyway, I was doing driving duties. It's very funny. I don't do driving duties with talent. I never have. And yesterday, I really haven't. And I was driving around, giving Ricky life advice, which I'm sure they loved by those guys. But it was all.
Are you helping them pick up additional chicks?
It was more like finances and stuff. No, I was just saying, you guys gotta pay attention. When the money starts rolling in, recognize it's not forever, and be smart about it. They loved hearing that. Anyway, that's what that was that conversation. So big event was great, and there were lots of reports about it.
Oh, a ton of reports. Our friend Vinny attended the big event, and he got a ton of great stuff, including, as we mentioned before, a VIP from our guys and an Emily J combo. Much appreciated, as always. He also, which this is something him and I had discussed a little bit. I'm sure he asked a lot of other collectors because it's a tough choice. He had Jake the Snake on, what was that show? I forget what it's called now. In Texas, where it was Bret Hart versus Terry Funk. WrestleFest or something. It was something like that. But anyway, he got a bad Jake graph on it back when Jake was, for lack of a better word, a junkie who didn't really care or wasn't able to really do a good job. And as I think we all have pieces like that in our collections where there's that one graph that just sticks out like a sore thumb. It doesn't look good and it bothers you. I know that feeling very well, and I'm not even a perfectionist. But he got it done, and Jake sort of signed over it, and he signed bigger and thicker, and it looks great. So I hope he's at peace with his decision, because I think he should be. It looks great, and it was the right move to make. And he also remarked about how apparently RVD is now charging $100 per graph. That is his current rate.
What do we have our RVD stuff selling for online?
In some cases a third of that, with multiple signatures. And I mean, hell, we probably should jack our prices up. This is too low if he's charging $100. But I mean, at this point, our good pricing is the buyers win. So that is a good thing. And of course, Vinny is always nice and understands the other side of the coin, and mentioned the financial risk promoters take and that they need to make money. And even though we kind of shake our fist and complain about the pricing, because we all do it, sometimes it's unavoidable. Although I think RVD at $100 per is extremely avoidable, and I think his table was probably extremely avoidable for a lot of fans with that kind of pricing, because that's like double where he was, 18 months ago?
Exactly.
That's wild. Yep. If anything, he's less relevant now than he was then. So I don't agree with it. But listen, if they made money, if whoever, I'm not sure what the situation on him was, whoever was doing it, if they made money, God bless.
Well, I think what it shows really is that with the amount these guys cost to bring in, those are the prices you have to charge. So it's the question of, is it worth it? Will you make it back? You probably not for most of them, but that's how it goes.
All right, and while I actually felt bad, I'll give a little apology to our good friend, the Captain Kangaroo. He approached the table while I think I was pulling prints with, I don't remember who the hell I was pulling prints with, one of them. And I wasn't able to really look, because if anyone's pulled prints before, if you want to see me pulling prints, it's on our Instagram story or Brad's Instagram story. You really can't, if you look away, it's like taking... Honestly, I'll look away more while I'm driving than I will while I'm pulling prints. You screw everything up. So Kangaroo came over talking about he had some snafu with the fandom photo people, which he may have corrected. I don't know. Captain, please give an update on the show graphic to let us know how that went. But he mentioned how he had to do an Edie Brickell stance with the Great Muta. And while he's all pissed off telling us about this, I couldn't get past the idea that it's pronounced Edie Brickell. I've always said Edie Brickell. So I'm like, whoa, it's pronounced Brickell? Like, I was just hyper fixated on the pronunciation, while Kangaroo was like venting about some problem. But yeah, he wasn't happy. He had to squat and pinch a loaf like he did with Gorgeous George when she was scarfing down that Subway that foot-long sandwich, like the pig she was. And he was very upset. And listen, I don't know.
Muta was sitting. They should have had a chair next to him. That's it.
Yeah, he's right.
Muta really can't stand at all. He's a double knee replacements. He can't stand. This is well documented. This has been for a long time. Watching Muta walk is actually upsetting.
Yeah, we saw him walking in that hotel room that day, and it was not. Yeah, he. I don't think, and I don't think Kangaroo had any problem with him not standing. It's just they should have had a chair.
Yeah, the Muta cannot stand. Cannot stand.
They needed a chair, and that was a mistake. And listen, fandom is no Epic. I think Epic, business-wise, we've been well developed in our critique of how they do business on a lot of levels. But I think the actual people on the ground running the photo op tents and handling all of that, they do a great job. They really do. It's efficient. The people are kind and courteous, and you always get what you need. I don't think fandom is anywhere near that level of quality. And I mean, for something like this, it's easy. Get a chair next time. It doesn't take rocket science or an event planner or anything. Just have a chair next to a person that can't stand up.
Right. What else do we have on here? Roy attended a big event. There was some good, AJ Lee. AJ Lee was an insane line all day long. She was just all day nonstop. That line was right in front of us. It never ended. Zach C was also at big event. He posted a shot with Goldberg. Goldberg was great with the fans. All kinds of cool photo ops with the fans for sure.
He's always cool. As we've said before, he is top notch with fans. In other news, C-Rat and Finn, it was Finn's birthday weekend, so Finn was out in style. They swung by and saw Jackson. They got some stuff there. They did a bunch of other things, and I thought the coolest thing he mentioned as far as big event was they got AJ Lee to sign the little Larry zombie sailor like Hasbro figure, which
What is that?
they made when Zombie Sailor released the CM Punk like Hasbro. They also it was a 2-pack, and not a 2-pack, a set of 2, and there was like a miniature Hasbro card, but it's like a fifth of the size of a regular Hasbro, and it's got a miniature figure of Larry the dog, Punk's beloved dog. So they made AJ Lee sign the figure of her dog Larry, which is I don't think Larry's gonna be doing any signings anytime soon. So it's basically an item for AJ or Punk. And that's awesome. No, I don't think anyone else has that. At least not now. Now they might copy it next time. But I think that was a pretty cool move. And then...
Was I supposed to know what Zombie Sailor is?
They're in most people's opinions, they are the premier, and I'll make this brief, they are the premier like Hasbro-styled figure company out there. Me personally, I prefer the grapplers and gimmicks with Mitch, because I think the Zombie Sailor ones, the arms are too long. These damn figures, they could tie their shoes standing upright. I don't like the arms. I have a couple, but the arms bother me. Mitch's look a little more, probably a little less like artistic as far as like being like sculptures of like but it looks more Hasbro to me. But that's what Zombie Sailor is.
No, I just thought it was funny you were throwing this term around like anyone was supposed to know what it is.
I assume most people know what it is, but perhaps I'm in my own figure bubble.
I think so, yes.
Quite possibly. Also, Finn and C-Rat went to UFC, and while there, they met Dana White in the crowd. He was walking by, and they always have good seats, so they were able to get near him. And what made it even cooler is C-Rat mentioned to Dana that it was Finn's birthday, and he brought them down like octagon side, and then got them in the ring at some point during the night, and then he took photos with them in the octagon. Not the ring, the octagon. And that is absolutely insane. So, I mean, I can only imagine being like, your 15th birthday and you're in the octagon with Dana White. That's crazy.
No, and the shots looked great. It was great. And thanks to them also, I forgot to mention them before, they came by the table for Jackson Drake as well. What else? We had Wicked Ink Wednesday. We're going to do a double header because we skipped it last week for our interview with Class 316. So lots of great stuff. Oh my God. So last week I pulled Jack Proctor. He posted this promo shot of Yuvine Levy and John Candy.
How'd you pronounce that name?
Did I say Eugene? This is Eugene Levy?
You said Yuvine, I think.
No, I didn't. I mean, I just stumbled over my, over my words. But Eugene Levy and John Candy, there was a promo shot already signed by John Candy that he finally finished with Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy is such a working actor. He would clean up at cons, but he'd never do one. But
I pop for anything with John Candy. John Candy is one of the goats for sure.
Kev Buckler posted an original Earthquake promo. You just don't see those every day.
No.
And then Jim, he posted. He was doing a little bit of trading. I think it was whole thing. He won a jacket and he traded for this thing. Long story short, he came out of Fan Expo Canada with a fully signed Fantastic Four poster after like winning a raffle and doing some trading. And it's a sick poster.
It is.
Good job there.
Super jealous. And then from this week's side of Wicked Ink Wednesday, Greg 2600, the gimmick will always be respected. He completed his My Name is Earl 11x14 up in Rhode Island. And it looks sick. It really does. He even got the one girl whose name I forget, the Hispanic one, that didn't do the convention. He got her on the street like a decade ago. And full circle, his piece is done. I'm sure much like me now, Greg has it sitting in a pile somewhere on a shelf or in a binder. But that is an awesome, awesome piece.
Truth is, I've never seen a single episode of My Name is Earl.
I watched it when it was on. I liked it, but I mean, I have to do a rewatch. It was one of those first sitcoms, I think it felt, I don't know. I remember it felt different than like the typical like rinse and repeat sitcoms that you saw like a million of. All right, C-Rad had a photo signed by Andre with his shoot name, which is pretty damn rare.
How'd that come about? Do we know where he got it from?
I don't think he didn't post the details. He texted it to me. I didn't get the full story, but he bought it. I mean, C-Rat's always big game hunting. He has. I definitely have to see his collection one day, like he's mentioned many times, because that he's got some stuff. I'm sure. I've seen the photos and videos I've seen. Wow. But that is a piece. That is a piece that, I guess every big game hunter needs, and that is awesome. And we also selected my stage-used prop from when Bryan Cranston was on Broadway playing Lyndon Johnson. I think it was All the Way is what it was called. And it was a document that he signed on stage. And like he signed it as Lyndon Johnson. And then he also, I guess, for Broadway charity, signed it as himself. And I'll talk about it now. I may have before, but back at like right around COVID, the Broadway Cares Facebook page and eBay account was a little bit of a sneak. People didn't really know about it somehow. And I remember I was grabbing things left and right. That would be, I think I paid like, $1.25 for that. Like now, stuff like that goes for $400 or $500.
That's a $400 item.
Because it all goes to charity, which I think I actually forgot to write that stuff off. Crap. But yeah, you can write those things off. It's great. Now, I mean, have at it. Go on Broadway Cares eBay. You're not going to find any steals and deals. But back then you did. And I love that piece.
So we have a double header of Photo with Friday. So Vinny posted a shot with Joe Perry. Those are not common. Mike posted a shot with Randy Savage from the early 90s. It goes to show a lot of people did meet Randy Savage back then, just not us.
Yeah, not us for sure.
And 16 times Mark posted a shot with Bob Denver, not the singer Bob Denver, the Gilligan Bob Denver, which was one of those names that, he was doing cons back when cons were $5 a shot. But if you weren't alive or you weren't around, you didn't get him. And all of a sudden he died. And, Bob Denver would be a $200 combo today, but different era.
Then we had our favorite balloon artist, Mr. Pop and Twist. He posted a marked out group photo from the past. And if you don't believe me how past it was, just look at the size of all the marked out people. I looked like I had like AIDS. I was so skinny back then. And I mean, hell, Ira and Greg look like they could run in the Olympics. And now, I mean, not to body shame any of us, but we certainly don't look like that. So good job, Pop and Twist.
And then Andrew posted a shot with Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell was I think relatively uncommon, now impossible. So that was a great shot. And finally, yes. We pulled 2 from 16 times.
Listen, here's the problem. So I'm going to do, this is going to be a shared honor because I originally wanted to do, as I was scrolling through the list, I was going to do Mike Gavin with Al Pacino. Then I saw that Mike Gavin was already picked for Randy Savage, and I didn't somehow, because you wrote it as Mark 16 times. I just write it as 16 times. I stopped on Mark. I figured Mark was someone else. So I said, all right, I'll pick 16 times with Leslie Nielsen. That's awesome. So since I have 2 16 times, we'll do a shared honor. 16 times with Leslie Nielsen and Mike Gavin on a film set with Al Pacino, because I'm such a Pacino mark. I mean, someone could post Pacino every week and I'll want to pick it each time. That's how much I love Al.
Very overrated actor. But anyway.
Stop.
He is.
Out of order.
Very overrated. Listen, if acting means just screaming at the screen, then I guess Al Pacino is a great actor. Anyway, Monster Mania, Oaks, just adding a couple of names to round out their lineup. Eugene Clark. Let me tell you, I love Eugene Clark at these events because he's such a carny. He doesn't post prices, so he's open. He's open for business. His table has no prices on it. Look, he had a fantastic cameo as the giant awful zombie from Land of the Dead, right? And he has parlayed that into a whole con career. But I would love to get a photo with Eugene Clark. Because I it's an iconic role. It's great. So there's that's the movie poster is that role, but I don't love the whole no prices posted thing, and I'm not in the mood to haggle. So I do appreciate the carniness and Whip Hubley. Gun to my head, I have no idea who that is.
Neither do I.
All right.
I think you should haggle with Eugene Clark for for content, since
Maybe
you are the one meta in this business right now. So I think you should do it.
So we're still debating Steel City Con, right? We were a hard no, an easy no on Steel City Con, and then Steel City Con went and it added Shia LaBeouf. They added Lori Loughlin, John Stamos, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Weiss. And it's like, okay, so now between Shia, Lori Loughlin, Stamos. They added Parker Posey. I mean, she'll probably cancel because she always does.
Don't forget Coulier and Mr. Woodchuck. The Woodchuck is back.
But I mean, Coulier's been around. But I mean, Stamos, Loughlin, LaBeouf are three crazy names. Rare names. Big names. All three. Steel City just crushing with this lineup. I don't even know what to say. It actually put Steel City in play for us.
They went and added a second convention to an already stacked convention. It actually gives me a little bit of pause as to what the building is going to feel like with that assortment of talent. But yeah, it's definitely a consideration. This would be my turn to drive, and I mean, sleeping most of the way when you're driving is frowned upon, unfortunately. So I mean, I would have to be awake and present and making this drive. Also, it's December. And let's be completely honest, I mean, a trip to a convention could turn into a skiing trip, going through the mountains. I mean, God knows what we're going to see. And having a bunch of photo ops and hotels and all this stuff booked, and you have to travel like 400 or 500 miles through mountains and other terrain, not fun. So I don't know. Full disclosure for the people that are so ever interested in my personal needs, I do have a photo op with Shia. I have several with Stamos. I would like some Shia autographs. I would like that triple op for Full House. So, and there's other people there that I would like. It's definitely tempting, but I think I'm trying to be strong. Sometimes I try to be weak and I want to commit. I'm hesitating to commit, but never say never. I mean, I'm definitely on the ropes right now. How are you feeling?
If it wasn't December, it would be an easy yes. That's how I feel.
Yeah, December's bad. December is not good.
There's no other way to say it. If this was not December, it's an easy yes. So right now it's a possibility, and I'm still, I think what our official answer is, we're going to discuss it at length on the drive to Oaks.
Yes, on the way to Oaks. That is the move.
SpaceCon San Antonio is doing something strange in their advertising. They have this unofficial poll asking fans to pick names, who they want to see booked. But there's all kinds of crazy names on this list. Tim Allen's on that list. Zoe Saldana's on that list. Ewan McGregor's on that list. Andrew Garfield's on that list. So it's unclear as to whether these names are available or whether they just, are putting out there to kind of hype people up as kind of a marketing thing. Not sure, but it is curious.
Listen, as I was filling out this form, I actually did go on one of the flight websites to see what a round trip ticket to San Antonio would cost. Tim Allen would be a damn hard one to pass up. Tim Allen's a very, very, very important name for me. Home Improvement, Toy Story, Santa. I mean, the list goes on and on. The guy's a complete icon. So I don't know if I would be able to really roll the dice and say, oh, he'll do something else. Because, I mean, is Costner going to do anything else? I don't know. He might. So I don't know what's going to happen. And then frustratingly enough, I went through the comments and there was so many morons in there, which, I mean, you're free to like who you want. But they're like, oh, Chris Evans. Oh, whatever. Like, are you serious? If you have a chance, to have Tim Allen, who's rare as hell and big, and
to be fair, Chris Evans is rare now.
I guess he's gotten rare now, but
I was anything in years.
I was mad at any comment that didn't say Tim Allen. Not fair. Totally deranged of me. But I went through and liked every Tim Allen response because that is the only correct answer.
It would be bold. So it would be a bold shot across the bow of cons to book Tim Allen. So that's a game-changing kind of name. It's a big name for cons.
Would you travel for him or no?
No, I'm not a fan of Tim Allen's.
Wow.
Because look at his work is significant, but it's also bad, right?
No, hold on. Home Improvement is great.
It's bad. It's bad.
Toy Story. Toy Story is. Tell me, Toy Story is bad.
Toy Story is a voice acting thing. It's different, and it's really on. Toy Story is built on the strength of who? Tom Hanks. So everyone else is secondary to Tom Hanks. That's not even debatable. And then the other stuff, Santa Claus, this idiot media. I have no interest in that. I was too old for that stuff. Keep that in mind. I was in my 20s when that came out. When a 20-year-old like Santa Claus, it's disabled. Something's wrong with you.
There's a hot take.
I'll never understand that. 20-year-olds watching children's stuff, it makes no sense. But then again, whatever. I just don't. I have no affinity for Tim Allen at all. But I appreciate, in terms of rarity.
Wait, didn't you watch Phineas and Ferb? I thought you were considering getting them at Comic Con.
No. I mean, I've seen some of the episodes. I'm a fan. Where oh my god, I didn't get them, obviously. But no, I'm not. I have no interest there. I mean, traveling, it would never happen. Never. Honestly, I've been actually trying to really kind of mull over who I would travel for. I'm not sure I have an answer. I would like to have an answer. I don't have one.
Listen, even if you had an answer, much like Roddy Piper would say, just when you think you have the answer, they change the questions. I'm sure someone could pop out of the thin air that you wouldn't even think about, and then you'd be like, "Oh crap, I travel for them."
I guess, yeah.
That's the place we're in right now, where we're arguing if Tim Allen's a viable con name. And I mean, again, I don't know what their logic was with that graphic. I mean, Zoe Saldana has done a couple cons, but talk about a name that would do insane. I mean, Avatar, Guardians, other stuff she's done that's a little less popcorny. Like that is it. She's insane too. I would love an Avatar reunion. What is Sam Worthington doing? Nothing. What is Stephen Lang doing besides being blind in a house chasing kids around when he's not making Avatar movies? Nothing. Like they should all be doing cons.
I agree. And yet, here we are.
Yep.
What else we got on here? I lost my spot on this list.
Our commercial.
Oh, it's our commercial. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Also, please subscribe if you like what you're hearing or you hate it or anything in between on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and or review. You can leave a rating or a review or both on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating on Spotify. You can leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment on YouTube. So I believe the topic of the day is our Rhode Island Comic Con report. I'll give my report first, and then you do yours. So, entry to the con was easy because basically we just steamrolled through and walked right in. I mean, we probably cut 15,000 people in line. That's just, that's how I roll. Should.
That is the Marked Out way. If you listen to Marked Out Radio, you are entitled to cut lines because, I don't know, you're a deranged lunatic like us.
Rule number 1, act like you belong and people just roll with it. Most people are too embarrassed to say anything. I hate to sound like that, but that's just how it is. We walked right in. It's great. This line was wrapped around the block. Thousands of people just walk right in. No one even blinks. It's fascinating. Human psychology, really. In any case, it was a little bit nerve-wracking at the beginning. At the beginning it was easy. I ran and got whatever graphs I needed. So I ran and got Patrick Muldoon. Patrick Muldoon was fantastic. He loved the Starship Troopers poster. He was so excited. He had the only F word in Starship Troopers. I don't know if there's only one. It's an R-rated movie for horrific, deplorable violence, but there's only one F word, and his character said it. And I had him write the quote with the F word, and he popped huge for it, and loved it, and was fantastic. So that was great. What else did I do? I did my Ethan Suplee combo. I got him on my road trip poster. The only reason I did the Ethan Suplee combo was I got it on a price mistake. It was like $50, so that was good. Ethan Suplee is jacked now. He used to be this big fat disaster. He's jacked. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
So that's good for him. Good for him. He looks fantastic. He was awesome. I feel like I got Anthony Starr was actually my first thing because we were down in the ice rink first, and he had when the con first opened, he had no line, so I ran up there. Anthony Starr is kind of a dick. I'm gonna be honest. He's a dick. And what's funny is, like, when I met him in 2021 at New York Comic Con, I guess this was before the boys hit it big. He was super nice, like over the top nice, over the top friendly, super accommodating. Now he's like this weird, sunglasses indoors wearing aloof celebrity who very much big timed everyone, barely interacted, was kind of a douchebag. So it's funny because I was talking to Lanza about it, and Lanza's like, "Yeah, that's how he is. He faked it for you in 2021." So I have not encountered Anthony Starr since 2021. So yeah, Anthony Starr can go to hell. But I got I've had that Homelander Target exclusive Funko Pop, the one with the laser eyes. I've been holding on to it for years to get it signed, and I finally did. I paid.
And now you can get rid of it.
No, I can get rid of it. Yeah. What else did I do? I think that was it.
No, hold on. Susan Sarandon. That was a little bit of an odyssey for you.
Oh, you're right. So what I wanted to do, we were negotiating back and forth because Rhode Island Comic Con had a deal. If you could buy an 11x17 mini poster of Rocky Horror pre-signed by Tim Curry for $109, which is not bad, and you pick it up at the Susan Sarandon table, pay for her graph, and she'll do it for you. So, all right, that sounds like a good plan. So I was waffling back and forth. So I did it. I finally just did it. And I went over to Susan Sarandon's table. There was no line at all. And the girl at the table is like, "Oh yeah, the posters didn't come in yet." I'm like, "What? What do you mean they didn't come in yet? It's been hours. It's the whole weekend. You were here yesterday. I didn't come in yet." And she goes, "Try back in a half an hour." And so every half hour I walked back to that table, and wouldn't you know, they were not back. They never came in. Finally, by like 1 p.m., they brought the posters in. And so I was a little bit nervous about that. Where the hell they got these posters from? But these
was
are posters
Tim driving them himself?
They were signed at a private signing with OC Celebrity Marketing because they had the OC sticker on them. So I knew they were legit because OC, if you do mail order with them, their customer service sucks, but their stuff is beyond reproach. They do private signings. They're a big company, so I know it was legit. Susan Sarandon was super nice. She added a character name. I realized the person behind me got a quote for free, so I probably could have got one, but I didn't really think it was possible with Sarandon because I know she denied my brother a quote a few months ago back at New York Comic. No, there wasn't that Comic Con. Where did he get her? 90s Con. So I just thought that she was not open for business there, but then apparently she was. So whatever. I still got the character name for free. She was very nice. I do want to talk about the photo op area. It's because in recent years, the photo op area has been pretty good at Rhode Island. This year, the photo op area was a disaster. It was packed. You couldn't hear. The screens were way off. They were running 30 minutes behind on their photo ops. So it was kind of a mess. I did end up getting what I paid for and what I wanted. So I got Susan Sarandon. I got the Degrassi group photo, which was really cool. They were like thrilled to be there. Funny thing was, I think I paid like $250 for the group photo, and then if you did it at the table, it was like $165 or $175, something like that. It was like $175 at the table. So I probably should have done it at the table, but I didn't know they would offer a group op at the table. But they actually had them all sitting at the same table.
Yeah, that was nice. I saw that. I passed on them. I stayed strong, but that was nice.
I really regret not getting them for $175 at the table, but whatever, that's fine. What else did I get op wise? I think that's it. It was Degrassi, it was Sarandon, and I passed on another Starship Troopers group op because I think that would just be really mentally ill if I did another one. That would be like just stupid. I am stupid, make no mistake, but that would be like very, very and uniquely stupid. Oh, I also got Rosario Dawson. I got Rainn Wilson. Finally, I decided to get Biddy Schramm because I like Monk, so that was fun. Rosario Dawson was super cool. Rainn Wilson was nice. That's it.
Yeah, I probably should have gotten Betty, but there's a certain level of names. I know that's where the cons really can get slippery for you. That all of a sudden you get 6 additional $40 names, and you've doubled your budget. So I try not to. But anyway, as you said, our entry was nice and quick, thanks to us just being terrible human beings. When you went to Anthony Starr, I went over to Misha Collins of Supernatural fame. And luckily, his line at that point wasn't very big. And much like, I should say, much unlike NYCC, there were a lot of people on the floor at like 10:10, which is nice. NYC, so it's like no one comes down until 11. And you just waste that hour like just picking a line to like die in slowly. So it was nice. It's always nice when you can get in and start getting stuff done quick. So I added Misha to my original poster. Luckily, the line moved quick that was in front of me because it was mostly the creation-style women that I guess wanted their selfies before they would move on later for their pro-op. I'm sure I'm not joking. I'm sure most of those women I saw getting selfies also had pro-ops. And I mean ops lined up for the various poses, which is great. It keeps these guys profitable. He was pretty cool. He signed the poster. I asked him for a character name, and he gave me like a dry answer of, "Oh, you're asking me to do a lot of extra work here." And I wasn't sure if he was kidding or what, but he did it, so I really wasn't all that concerned. After Misha, I went upstairs to try to get on Gina Davis's line. Mind you, Gina was not here on Friday. She was caught up in all that TSA craziness. So I didn't make her my first priority in the morning because I wasn't sure if and when she'd even be there. So I got up there, and she hadn't appeared at the table yet, but they said she was coming. And the line operator told me to come back after her photo ops, and I'd be able to get on then. Now, this is not my first rodeo, so I heard him tell me that. I did a couple other things like table photos. Lanza and I split some stuff, including Nick Swardson. And a little sidetrack from Gina Davis really quick. As Lanza and I and Greg are approaching Nick Swardson, Nick is like wandering off trying to sort of he was trying to go to the bathroom. And Lanza kind of like strong-armed him and just bullied him and told him that he had to come back to the table now to take the photo with us because we didn't have all day to watch him wander around. And it was hilarious. I was dying. Swartson's that kind of guy. I don't care. He came back and he was talking about his like sobriety and how he's doing in life, and he took the photos. And after that, I went back on the Gina Davis line. And of course, I didn't listen to the directive. I gave them like 30 minutes instead of the hour that they told me to. And I got right on the line, and it moved quick. I added her to my 11x17 Beetlejuice print, which I ended up buying from a rack trusted seller prior to Rhode Island. So I figured, why the hell am I waiting to see Baldwin again when I could buy it from a private signing from someone trusted and spend less than I would have spent at the table. So now my Beetlejuice print is largely complete. I don't know if I'll ever do the Keaton investment.
Well, what about Winona?
Yeah, I don't think I'll do neither one of them. They're expensive. I'm not going to throw thousands of dollars into this Beetlejuice print.
But you like Beetlejuice.
I do, but I like a lot of things. I also like food and heat and paying my bills in a reasonable amount of time. So I can't go crazy with everything. Maybe one day, we'll see. But I think I'd be fine with just the couple of ghosts. I think that would be okay. A deranged pro tip that I employed for this show. I full disclosure, at my job, I'm on an AI committee. So I'm all about AI, learning how to use it, learning how to get the most out of it before it inevitably takes over and destroys all of us. So what I decided to do was I uploaded to ChatGPT the photo op PDF of the schedule, and then I also uploaded all of my tickets. And I asked it to compile me a schedule and organize it earliest to latest. And wouldn't you know it, it made my schedule nice and pretty. It was all organized and nice. And day of, since there's sometimes updates, I re-uploaded the new schedule and had it like double check my times, and it made any updates that needed to be made. And I absolutely could have done this for myself. I'm absolutely making the human race dumber by not using my own brain. But I kind of felt proud of myself for that.
Did you have it so that it organized the QR codes in one document?
Ooh.
In order?
I didn't even think of that. I know sometimes ChatGPT, even with the premium one, it's a little weird with utilizing like anything involving images, like integration. It's not always great. I assumed that would be like image integration, which is wonky. But next time.
That's actually there.
Yeah, that's good. So I started off my pro op, started off with Gina Davis. Honestly, I've heard, and like right after COVID, she needed like a mile between you from other people. I thought Gina was actually quite nice. She was friendly at the table. At the pro op, like it was, no one really was touching her. I didn't care to touch her, but it was fine. After that, I moved on to Rainn Wilson, and as painful as this is to talk about, back when my meta glasses were alive and well, I was wearing them as I typically would, and Rainn Wilson pulled a CM showstopper.
Are you recording this?
He asked me.
I was there. He asked you if you were recording.
And what did I do? You
said no. You lied right to his face.
I lied right to his face. Listen, what deranged human being that is recording someone in a photo op that you paid $200 essentially to stand next to this man for 6 seconds? I'm clearly not well, so I mean I lied to him because I'm clearly not well. And I mean honestly, if I would have said yes, it would have been a whole to do. So I lied to him. I have that video, which I still have to upload. Luckily, I had those imported already. And yeah, I mean, that was my top one of the show, believe it or not. And I was happy. Finally got Andrew McCarthy, who I've often punted many times. And he's just a complete like stalwart of the 80s. And I needed him, I felt, because I'm deranged. And I got him. So that was very nice. Lanza and I did some splits with The Flash. I wasn't planning on doing this originally, but I have basically the entire cast of The Flash, minus the few I got today, that I got here at Rhode Island. And I got Tom Cavanaugh. And shockingly enough, his handler, Lanza and I were going to split the selfie. This was a staff-sanctioned switcheroo. He looked at us and said, if you guys want to take separate photos, go for it. And we're like, okay. Thank you. So we had a split solo photo, which is beautiful. Then with the wife of Jesse L. Martin, who I don't remember her character or her actress name, which shows I definitely made the rational decision of paying to meet her. She was there. I think her real first name may have been Danielle. In any case, she was represented by the legendary Jason Blaustein.
Yeah, of Turnbuckle Promotions fame.
Yes, and funny enough, Jason Blaustein, I believe, has me blocked on Facebook after that last time that he had the issue with the porn stars. I think I made some post, I guess wasn't very nice, saying that he should have paid the talent, and I think he blocked me after that. I'm not sure. But, all's well that ends well. I didn't bring up any of the old stuff, and I mentioned to him about how we had shouted out the legendary 07 con, and he said that he'd heard that. And yeah, it was nice to see Blaustein. He's definitely someone that's had some. No one's scot-free in this business, but I mean, he's given the fans a hell of a bang for their buck over the years, and there's never been an accusation of forgery from Jason. So I think as far as reputations go, he ain't half bad, unless you're a porn star. In which case, I mean, what the hell? It's probably not the worst thing that happened to you that week. And I basically closed it out. I got Pam Grier, who I really didn't need, but I mean, whatever. I got Anthony Starr.
And you have passed on Pam Grier multiple times, and we've seen her multiple times at shows.
Yes, this is my redemption tour. I'll be getting what's his name, Robert Patrick at Oaks, assuming he doesn't die before then. So this is my redemption tour. It's pretty nice. I'll never make up for passing on Big Bird, but I made up for Pam Grier. Anthony Starr, I mean, I got the same vibe you got, but this is where I'm deranged. I've never seen The Boys. I've never seen Banshee. I don't think I've seen a single thing this guy did, but you can bet your ass I got him, because why wouldn't I? One day I will. And honestly, I might. Banshee's been something on my watch list for years. The Boys is supposedly awesome. I'll probably check them out. And then we saw Rosario Dawson, who had some stupid hat on. I don't care about much, but sometimes when these people have these ridiculous hats, it kind of bugs me on pro ops. But whatever, what can you do? It's fine. She was super cool. Lanza and I didn't want crazy poses. I mean, for a split, it's kind of hard. There's not much you can really do with a crazy pose to crop or Photoshop or anything. You're kind of screwed. So we got a basic pose, but I mean, she was hugging, leaning, grabbing. She was comfortable with the people. Everyone seemed comfortable with her. I didn't see anyone doing anything too extra. So it seemed like a good time was had by all. And I think that's where my day ended.
So that's Rhode Island. Now there are a bunch of listeners who were also there. Who do we have on here? Lou got a lot of photo ops, but he did a whole take the train, get as much as I possibly can in the time allotted, then take the train out. So he maximized his time. Sean Jackson, he did a whole a massive photo op dump there. Big viral post on the marked out autograph collecting community there. His Cobra Kai poster was a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, that looks sick. The great pen color choice. It looks really, really, really cool. I fell out of Cobra Kai. I got to get back into it. It was always a fun show. I'm sure when I get back into it, I'll be pissed at all these people I've passed on over the years, since I had the key ones I knew from when I watched, and then I haven't gotten the other ones. But in any case, Sean, thank you for sharing. Welcome aboard. Always great to, hell of a way to start your marked out Facebook career with 100K plus. Brian was at Rhode Island. He had some awesome multi-signature projects from that show. Find his post on the group to actually just, as you showed all of this stuff. If you missed any of these reports, check them out. We can only do so much to sort of convey the times and the experiences they had. So just check them out and see it in full if you missed it. And then our good friend Zach C was up there, and he got some awesome people, including your pal Denise Richards.
Yeah, Denise is starting to make a lot of con appearances. What's funny is when I was chatting with Patrick Muldoon when I got him, and one of the things he said was, he had no idea that cons were really even a thing, or really didn't know what they were, and he was BSing with Denise Richards one day, and she convinced him to start doing cons.
She's one I have to get one day. I think she might be next on my redemption tour.
I don't know why you didn't get me. She's been on a lot of stuff.
I know. Listen, I gotta draw some lines, man. These Hasbros ain't buying themselves.
I don't know. So that's pretty much it for Rhode Island. Any last thoughts on Rhode Island?
Nah, see you next year.
Yeah, for sure. So what's coming up for us? Well, we're going to Oaks. Monster Mania Con is at Oaks, Pennsylvania. Beautiful, scenic Oaks. Love that town. Would love to vacation there. Yeah, that's a joke. It's just an industrial wasteland. Anyway, but it's a great place to have a con. It's a great venue. It's basically just a giant square. So there's lots of space. I look forward to getting Robert Patrick. I may actually also get why can't I think of her name? Reagan from Exorcist.
Oh, Linda Blair.
Linda Blair, just because I've never gotten her. I've always passed on her, but now I'll have time. So I'm debating it. I might just do that.
Just wait until the listeners see the deranged. Don't spoil it, but just wait till everyone sees the deranged item I bought for Linda Blair. I really didn't need it. Bless you.
I actually meant to mute the mic there, but I was too slow. The mic slipped out of the mouse slipped out of my hand. So everyone, that's the first on air sneeze. I think.
Wow.
Usually I mute them.
Everyone mark the date and time.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in myself here. What do I not know? Are you getting that thing signed?
Yes.
I didn't know you were actually getting it signed. The thing you showed me yesterday. Get out of here! You're insane.
No, you didn't see it yesterday. I didn't show it to you. It's not here yet. What did I show you?
Wait, I know. I was thinking of the other thing on the shelf that looks a similar vibe, right?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
The popcorn thing, no?
Oh no, that's not Linda Blair. That's the
I thought you had a Linda Blair one too.
No, I wish. If I did, I'd get it signed.
Ugh. So yeah, and that's what are you getting at Oaks?
God, I don't even know. The Black Phone people, Linda Blair, the Nun, of course. I've been screaming for this Nun for years. I gotta do a once over again. I'll probably skip on the Ashmores, much like Denise Richards, because I can't get everything. I'm getting Robert Patrick. Yeah. You kind of got in my head about the Jason suited op, but there's probably a cooler one to do with cooler Jasons. This is probably not the one to do. I don't know. But you kind of got into my head on that. That sounded kind of cool then after you sort of sold me on it. Are you still thinking about it?
No.
Oh, so thank you for that. You just put that in my head, then you back off of it. But yeah, I think I'm going to do the same.
All right, sounds good. We did get listener questions and other things that we're going to punt for next time because we are already at the 90-minute mark, roughly. And so we're going to continue the content for the future. We don't really have a lot as far as marked out collectibles goes because we're heading into slow season now. It's winter, so pretty much for the next few months, where marked out collectibles goes into a tiny bit of hibernation as we gather together and inventory our stuff and take stock of what we have, and then try and offer some great prices over the holidays.
Speaking of inventory, we started our inventory process last night.
Yeah, it's gonna be an ongoing process. Right now we don't really have a great system in place, but I am in the process of designing a system, and I think once we were kicking around some ideas yesterday, and we started that process, and I think we're gonna get in a place where we're gonna be an efficient and well-oiled machine in the new year.
Yeah, because and I completely forgot to mention this. We had a listener reach out by the name of Tyler, who actually he discovered the whole collectibles through the podcast, and he listened to the show. He loves the show. He's been catching up and stuff, and he went on our website and purchased something from hearing about us on the podcast. So that's part of what we're doing with this inventory. We don't have everything on the website. We have more on the eBay account. We don't even have everything on the eBay account. There's a lot of stuff that is still in need of being listed. So we are going to get everything cross-listed as a result of this system and this inventory. And as a result of having everything on all platforms, that's going to make everything a little easier for the buyer. And I know we've been kicking around, I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but we want to create some sort of an incentive discount type code or something for radio listeners that if you want to buy something from our website that you are incentivized. Because I'd rather sell stuff through our website than eBay because I think the fees are better. So as a thank you to listeners, we're going to come up with something with that. And yes, whereas where marked out collectibles will be hibernating as sort of creating this product, we will be kicking up into high gear as distributors of this product for the holiday season. If you have a loved one that wants a metallic photo of Maria's vagina, we got you covered. If you would like a pop Funko of Matt Riddle for some sort of a drug-addled family member, we got you.
Yeah, we do have stuff that we're going to be reducing in price to make room for new stuff. So we have stuff that I think it's great, but we're going to make a more concerted effort to get it out the door.
Yeah, it would be much greater in someone else's premises than ours. Because I mean, we need room for new stuff, guys. We have a lot of stuff coming.
It's true. So I guess that's it. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Awesome. So
R.I.P. the meta classes.
Yeah, you're gonna end up all this nonsense, and they're gonna end up getting returned to you right away. Anyway, so for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean,
and I'm Dana.
We'll see you in Oaks, Pennsylvania, Robert Patrick.